shit, I was big there. My skin was a mess. That was all that stress of going through donut 2 years ago. So I'm not surprised I looked like that 2 years ago. It's like, oh my God, it was crazy.
Yeah. And here, I think, and I know this is B-roll. I know we're just talking. We haven't even gotten into our discussion yet. I'm still putting on lipstick, but I actually think that this would be something really helpful to share, because you have something, a project that I think you're pursuing that speaks to this. But when I was doing heavy lifting in Dona, saying I was the intercultural director, and then I did 3 years as an intercultural director, working to address their reputation, address their language, make the language inclusive, or make some edits. I did a lot of
That was a
conversations with
lot of work.
people about losing the word language like mother, she, her, father. They were wanting to go to neutral language. And I kept
Mm-hmm.
fighting for all the words because we have multiple identities, right? And at
Mm-hmm.
this moment, I don't even know where they landed, and it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me.
It
But
just fell right off, girl.
the fact that we were doing so much conversation and work, and then they were constantly creating more controversy, right? Like it was really a tough job. And then moved into the president role for 3 years, then rolled off the board, and then came back on the board. But the work of trying to move this shit forward and turn it around, it left me, like I said, when I look at those photos, I was almost 300 pounds. Now,
That was
I had been a
all the
person for
stress.
most of my life, had been 170 pounds. So
Yeah.
I had picked up 100 pounds over the course of this work. And of course, leaving the board and then also leaving what I didn't even realize at the moment was a toxic relationship without
Right.
any effort, no effort
Right.
at all. I looked up and 50 pounds had fallen off my body frame.
Right. And all that prolonged sitting, that was a lot
And it
on
was
you.
constant stress. And I was doing it as a volunteer board member.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then after I spent all that time, I then had to go find a way to make money and sort of like keep my life alive, right? So I'm saying that, and you're sharing about your cortisol level. And I guess because we're speaking to birth workers who are doing the same thing I was just describing. They're moving their businesses forward. They're in toxic or challenging relationships, because can't tell you. I've seen in the last month at least 4 birth workers announce that they're separated from their partners.
Right.
They
That's
have
right.
left toxic relationships.
That's
Some
right.
I'm like, oh, for real? Oh, wow. Because I know life is lifing for all of us. But I'm saying this to
Mhm.
say you and I have both been where a lot of these birth workers are: broken relationships, betrayal in friendships, losing spouses, partners, and then also working within institutions where you're pushing for change, pushing for inclusivity, pushing for life affirming policies.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it takes its toll. I think that's the testimony, right? It really takes its toll. And when I look back at those old pictures, I was, like I said, I was big as a house, and I can't even describe to you in some of those moments. I can tell you how bad I was feeling, but I was still
Yep.
helping people. I was still
Yep.
showing up. I was still
Yep. That's
checking all
right.
the boxes, making sure the program was going well, making sure I had my
Right.
words correct.
That's
And
right.
the truth is, I wasn't really taking care of myself at all.
But you were taking care of everybody else, though.
I was trying, yeah, and I was showing up the way I thought people needed me to show up. And in the end, it wasn't enough. It wasn't the right. See, God will never have you going against yourself,
I know
right?
that's right.
Those feelings were indicators that, hey, this ain't it, Reve. But
Oh,
because I had these external obligations, I kept going. And I know you've been on a wellness journey. If you want to share, I'm put you a little bit on the spot. But if you want to share some of what the lessons that we can take forward, because I've been just on the sidelines watching you and dibbling and saying, I'm going to dabble. I dabbled, and then I let it go, and then I dabbled and then let it go. So I've been on this journey just in a peripheral way with you, but share, if you can, what you're ready to share about like your wellness
yeah.
journey and how it might translate and support other birth workers.
Yeah, sure. Well, I have to practice what I'm preaching here, Eve, because I'm doing this dissertation on the weathering of doulas. So I can't be sitting up here falling apart and having a real jacked up lab result from my doctor's office. I kind of have to be healthy here. So it's
Exactly.
like, yeah, it's like, but yeah, you're right. I see them all over social media. These people are breaking up. They moved out. They're in traumatic relationships. They can't leave. Oh my God. It's like, ooh,
I know there's a lot,
it
and
really is. It really
there's a
is.
lot, and and the truth is, like in your life journey, you've been through all of that too. So what's working for you? What's
Um,
allowing you to do your birth work, your dissertation, all that work at this high level and actually simultaneously embrace wellness?
I've come, Denise 6.0, coming into being 60 in what, 13 days. I really have learned the true meaning of the saying, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on somebody else. Well, what does that mean? And, even to the nth hour, here I was trying to put the word BIPOC all through my dissertation. Denise, you ain't a BIPOC. What are you doing? I'm still trying to be inclusive. I'm still trying to help. No, you're Black. Do something with Black people. And it's like, oh yeah, that's exact. And once I said that, everything in my whole project this week fell into place as soon as I did that.
Mhm.
Because it's like, stop trying to put yourself here. You don't have to. That's a doctoral student. That's her responsibility. Responsibility
And
over.
right, and there's not enough of just us.
Ah,
And I think we can only do what we can do. And even as intercultural director, I was trying to be expansive without having any roots in all of those spaces that I was trying to expand to, right?
right.
And sometimes we just have to take care of ourselves. It's
Had to take care of
okay.
ourselves. Girl, I had to say to myself, Jordan has to fail. He has to flop. He has to fall. He has to do whatever it is called growing up. I cannot prevent those things. I can't.
And you shouldn't. He needs to
I
learn
can't.
lessons. We
He
fail.
has to learn. He's a grown ass man. Let him be out there and have lean days. Let him be out there and have days that are not so great. But mom is here. Make sure that you never starve, but you got to go through the ring of adulthood just like the rest of us had to go through. And
Mhm.
I cannot prevent that. And as a mom, that's my only kid. Of course, you don't want them to be out here struggling and floundering and having, you want to help them, but it's like, nope, nope. I have to stop being a doula to things that I don't need to be a doula for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've adjusted some of the ways that you're parenting an adult child
Mhm.
and letting go, kind of healing some of those fears.
Single adult, that's a whole different thing with the whole mantra of being a single parent. It's like, oh, you feel, this guilt. I got to be both parents. There's a whole other thing with that. So yeah, I stepped back and said, wait a minute. I got to put the oxygen mask on myself first.
Yeah, but also he's an adult. He's single.
Right,
So I think
right,
that matters too.
right.
If your
Mhm.
adult child is partnered and having a family, maybe that'll the way that you parent or worry or consider them would also change if they were partnered.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a great person and he's coming into his own. And I'm really happy for him
Yeah.
because I want him to be able to have something good to bring to the relationship table for whatever person he chooses to have a one-on-one serious relationship and build a family with. That's my goal as a parent. Every parent wants to see their kid safe with someone so that when they pass, they know their kid is okay.
Mhm.
So that is the goal. No problem with that. But I've just learned I'm not going to worry and stress over the things that I don't need to because that is not helping Denise.
Right. That's part of the cortisol.
Yeah, that's part of the oxygen mask. Do I want to have this fight or do I want to pass this one by? Am I going to fight about this? And if I am, how am I going to do it and for how long?
Hmm. Now, the other thing that you mentioned was adjusting your concern around BIPOC folk and narrowing it in, like zeroing in on what Black women need. And that
Exactly.
part of that came out of a conversation, a little offline conversation you and I were having, where I was saying one of my struggles with really moving my association forward, National Birth and Postpartum Professionals, is every time I start to do some organizing work around it, I am leading with this thought of like being open and inclusive to everyone and kind of really starting the work. We're trying to meet a lot of people's needs like this, and it feels
Mhm.
overwhelming.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so one of my comments, it was like an honest moment, like conversation. And I was like, I just want to take care of me.
Yep.
I'm
And when
still
you
in a
said that, it
phase.
was like, boom.
Yeah. I'm still in a phase where I'm recovering from burnout.
Right.
I'm recovering from betrayal.
Right.
I'm identifying what is healthy for this next phase of my life. And what's healthy is that I sleep and that I actually rest, which is a do nothing while I'm still awake, and
Yeah.
that I find more balance with work and everything. But
Mhm.
even as I take on new project, like I have the time, I have my energy is recovered. I've healed in a lot of ways physically and emotionally. And even as I have the time, I sit at my desk and get ready to do the work. I'm blocked
Mm.
because I'm trying to think about everyone. And
Mm.
I said to you, I just want to think about me.
Yes.
Because in this post pandemic phase of being a birth worker, we need different things. Like before the pandemic, there was a way that we all did the work and it seemed
Oh God, yeah, it
working.
was intense. It was, oh my God. Huh.
And then during the pandemic, we
Mhm.
needed to do the work in a particular way.
Oh yeah, survival mode. Oof.
And then we've been easing out of the pandemic.
Mhm.
Although COVID is running rampant right now,
Sure
we
is.
are operating differently. We have a whole different group of birth workers in the
Mhm.
working pool.
Yep.
We are acclimated to online and in person. I think a lot of us are still transitioning. And now it's like, what are the needs that I can not only adequately meet, what are the needs of birth workers that I can meet and like in a soaring way? And the
Mhm.
truth is, I got to start with me. I
Just
have
be
to start with
yourself.
you, like the
Yep.
people that I know. I can see what we need. My identity is more so with seasoned birth workers, right?
Exactly.
And Black women. I know our
Exactly.
struggle. I'm supporting us in the struggle,
Mhm.
and I'm coming up with solutions for us. And I think I'm just going to stay there for a little while. I'm not being exclusive. So if
No, not
some of
at
the
all.
projects that we do resonate with folk who are not my demographic, I think that's great. But I'm going to start with me. I think that's the
Yes.
most authentic place I can dwell.
Yep.
And if it resonates with other people, I think it'll be great. And I gave you some examples in that conversation.
Yeah.
I said, I'm looking at Sabia. Sabia just took care of herself, like
Sure did.
in that
And
group,
doing it very well. Doing
and
it
people
very
love
well.
it. Right?
Yeah.
People love it. She stayed
Yeah.
right in her little zone. She
Yep.
happened to hit. She had, this cross cultural these layers of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being Black, being female, and also being a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And it worked. Like it really resonated in 2020, 2021, when all of that intersectionality was hitting the radio waves, right? And people were like, so, and I think, and there's a couple other people, I can't remember who else I mentioned, started doing the work right from who they are and where they are. And it resonated, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's authentic. And I was like, girl, let me reset. And it was freeing in that moment. I literally, and thank you for that conversation, but I literally felt like, oh, I can do this.
Oh, sure,
Because
yeah.
we all have the doubts or feel overwhelmed. And I know other people are out there like, I thought she was going to do XYZ. Girl, I'm doing it. Child, I'm doing it. But I
Mhm.
get stalled at the doing it for everyone.
Right.
And I'm not here for everyone. I'm
No.
here, most importantly, primarily, and always will be from now henceforth and forever for me.
Yourself. Exactly.
Yeah. Because I know I'm a model for a lot of people. I know whatever God gives me, it will resonate with tons of people. And so I just have to stay true to me because that's how some of the shenanigans started in the first place.
Oh
Getting
yeah, it's tough. I lovingly call you quarterback. It's
yes,
tough.
you do.
It's tough being the quarterback because there's such expectations as people are looking at you and there's
Waiting for
this and
you
I
to
got
make
to
a
think about
call,
this
waiting
and
for
I
you to
think
give
yeah,
direction.
it's a
I'm like, ooh,
lot. It's a
child.
huge mantle. But I call you that because people really do look to you for leadership, and you didn't ask for that. That's just the
I did
way
not.
your personality is, and that's the way you think. And people, not just myself, so many years ago when I first met you with Donna, and we weren't even friends, but I saw the vision you were talking about. I'm sitting there and I'm like, that makes perfect sense. I can go with that. I can
Mhm.
I can
You
back
can get
that.
with it. Uh-huh.
It was just like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do this with Donna. And then, from pet to threat kind of thing started happening, and people started being intimidated and scared. This Black woman, oh, meanwhile, the changes were necessary, and their donors still using some of those changes today, even though they don't want to admit it. And they needed your future ones. They needed that community doula program. They needed it.
Well, they didn't get it. I got it. And
It's like, oh my
some doulas
God.
are going to get it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot going on with that. But in what we're doing here now for ourselves is I'm coming into a new season. I'm coming into a new decade of my life. I'm coming into my 60s. You are also making that transition of coming out of your early and mid 40s. You are getting ready to be facing in a couple of years your
Mhm.
50s. That's a
Yeah.
whole nother milestone for you of waking a little further up and to yourself and saying, hey, how can I serve Renee? What's going on with
Yeah.
me? And what does that look like for you? So that is the ascension, that is the growth. And it happened for me this year, and I'm so glad it did. It happened starting in January, it happened all the way through Thailand.
Mhm.
What a journey that was. But yeah, this stuff has to happen for us. And I love to see when it does happen. And for those doulas who it doesn't happen, you've got some work to do to get there. You got
Mhm.
to unload the baggage. You got to break bad habits. You got to be transparent with yourself.
Yeah, and you need to it's going to be so how it happened for me, I think how it happened for you was some really kind of tough experiences. You get knocked down, you're going to lose some friends, you're going to change your circle, you're going to have challenges within your family, you
Oh
might get
my
divorced,
God.
you might
Yeah,
break up, you might move across state
right,
lines,
right,
you might
right.
lose everything and build it all back
Yes,
and lose it
yes,
again and build it
yes.
all back.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, for me, you might gain 100 pounds and then try to work and figure out how to like
Right.
get get the arms to like be strong again. And I think I've been doing so much of the internal work, and I'm doing organizational head work, and that next layer that like I feel like God is like, you've been putting this off, but you have got to actually do this, is to add in the physical.
Yes.
I gotta start sweating.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta start moving.
Yes.
And that's where another layer of transformation is going to come. I definitely feel like it's weird. I feel like I'm coming back to myself, but I'm also a whole new person.
Exactly.
It's,
Exactly.
it's wild. So yeah, if y'all
Exactly.
haven't gotten to this point, it's coming. The 40s are amazing. If y'all just hitting them, I think this is the kind of stuff that is happening with a lot of my friends. Where we're just decide. First of all, you're not dealing with a lot of people's shit. You are
Right.
deciding that you're having boundaries and setting some standards and deciding what you want your everyday life to look like and feel like. And that's why marriages are ending, relationships are ending. You're like, I don't want to live in Florida. I know I didn't. I was like, this is crazy. I don't even want to be a part of this. Out of Florida, I left, girl. Like, it's just different things, and it's just super multi-layered.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's freeing. It's affirming.
Mm-hmm.
It's necessary, and it's life. So if any of you all are kind of like in that space, it's good. Congratulations, welcome, and stay in it. Stay in
You're
it.
40, your 40s, you're given the fire and you're like, okay, I got this. When you get to 50, you're like, okay, now what am I supposed to do with this fire? How do I make this fire work for me? And you spend the whole 50s getting that under your belt. And then when you hit 60, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly how this fire is going to work for me. I'm going to do bup, 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 bup. I'm over here with this. I'm going to say no to that. I'm staying in my lane. I know when to step out. I know when to pull back in. There's such a level of self-assuredness that you have because you worked for it. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm sitting here. I'm like, yeah, I'm calm as a cucumber. Yeah, okay, no problem. People don't remember what happened with us with Donna. Oh well. You want to go and be exploited? Go right ahead. You want to go ahead and be pimped out? Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Right. You're absolutely right. And it doesn't matter if people remember. I feel like plenty remember. They want to act like they don't remember, but they remember. But I just think that some people have to have the experience for themselves.
Oh yeah, they got to get burnt themselves. It's the same thing with our history. You know, people don't remember all the things that we went through here. It's like, okay, no problem. You don't recall a whole lot of stuff, no problem. But when it happens to you, then you'll have the recall. Then you'll have the epiphany. But
Mhm.
until then, you know, I'm all about solidarity. I'm all about sticking together and doing things as a whole. You know, like today, August 5th, this is our Montgomery, Alabama
Holding chair
Hold Up
day,
Chair
girl.
Day. Okay, let's not forget that Black people down there at that boat dock said enough is enough.
And it seems like people forgot. I was on social media. I didn't see anybody posting. And maybe it's just my people. My people probably ain't with it. But nobody
No, but
really posted about it.
I posted. I got a couple of posts I got to put on Instagram next too. But yeah, it's like enough is enough. But you know,
It
the self-care thing has to happen, and it is going to change your doula practice with your self-care. It is going to change the type of clients that you attract. It is going to change your work style and how you work and where you work and why and the why. So I'm going through all of that because, you know, when I was going through all this, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in a doctoral program. I'm not taking as many clients. Oh my goodness. Am I losing my practice? No, you're just evolving into something else. And that something else is going to be blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. And yes, I've had to let go of some doula clients because they're not a good fit. They're all about something and they're not doing the work to prepare, but they want to put everything on me to come in as the doula with the magic wand. That's not how this works. That's
Yeah.
not how this works. So
And
I
I
had
think that the more you come into yourself, the more easily you're able to identify the right fits so that you can actually grow your business more easily.
absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. But you know, once again, and it all comes down to the last thing that we'll say here probably is accountability.
Mm.
I had to take accountability when I went to my doctor's office and got my annual physical results and saw that horrific lab results, that multi-comorbids. I was a mess last year. And I looked and I said, that's not me. That's my mother. That's my dad who died at 52, by the way. I can't, that's not the lineage I want to have that they had. I want mine. I want to do better with my health. And I told my doctor, I'll be back. I will be back and it's going to be better. And this a year later, he's looking at my results. He's like, you did it. You did. I'm looking at a totally different person on this paper. You did it, Denise. And you're doing it through menopause. I don't know how you're doing it, he said. He said, I don't know how you got your A1Cs down to a single digit. I don't know how you did that, but you did it. And 30 pounds lighter. Yes, because
Wow.
I know I don't want the lifestyle my parents had. That is not the legacy that I want to perpetuate. No.
Yeah. And you did it. I remember the doctor's visit and the results and your reaction a
Oh, I
year
was
ago.
devastated. I was devastated.
And you mentioned your family history, and you were like, I'm not going to do it. And you literally challenged me. You were like, I'm going to show her. I know you went to a different doctor a year later because, yeah. But you were like, I'm going to show her that this ain't it. This is not it. And then like that particular doctor, I love that you kind of deviated from her because she wasn't actually encouraging you in the change. Like
Oh
she didn't
no.
really think you were going to do it, which is why I know you went back to your old doctor who actually cared. Who,
Yeah.
yeah, and so we have to also do that. We have to make sure that when we're making these changes, we are partnering with people who demonstrate that they care, not just give lip service or
Right.
are supposed to care, but who are
Mhm.
actually aiding you. You did it. You got on YouTube, and I know you're going to talk with people about how you did it.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of the resources were free, fully available.
They sure were.
People were teaching and layering and linking you to other people who were teaching
Yes.
and layering and linking,
Yes.
and you were very consistent. And girl, I watched it. That's why I was like, "Oh, I would start, stop." I'd be like, "Oh, child, I'm not ready for that." I just couldn't take all of that on, but you were ready, and it's been great to watch. And yeah, you've gotten the results that let's give it. Okay, folding chair anniversary next year. let me see what I'm going to compare my numbers. Let's see where we are.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I know we started. First of all, y'all, this is the B-roll because we just were getting on. You don't see me eat. You don't see me jiggle my arms. Okay, so like, listen, we're just real around here. But yeah, we'll do an arm test. Like we'll see where we are. Yeah. See, you got muscles, child. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to Belize laying next to you. I don't know. I might change my mind. I just ordered.
Girl, get a
I
miracle
might
bathing
send.
suit. It makes you look
No,
fantastic. Girl,
I might send the swimming suit back. I don't even know if swimming suit can make a difference. I'm gonna have to practice a lot of self-love and a lot
Oh,
of
girl,
self-compassion.
I'm single right now because the brushing, the red infrared light, the vibration board, the intermittent
Yes.
fasting, the glucose. It's like, ah,
Yes, you got the vibrating plate, you got the walking pad.
the walking pad in the apartment. Oh God. All the stuff that I'm doing to get out of this body and get into the body that I want. And
Yeah,
so far it's been a
fasting.
year. Yeah. The intermittent fasting, the
Intermittent fasting.
OMAD, the 1 meal a day. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, y'all heard her list. That felt like a lot to me. And I was like, listen, I'm still in here eating cookies. I am still I'm still in here looking at this Peloton that's looking back at me that I
Oh,
haven't. I am in here, girl. I got the little step climber. Remember, I got that. I ain't been
oh,
on it.
you did get that.
Girl,
Okay.
I bought the 5 pound weights. I ain't even picked up the 2 pound weights that came with the Peloton. Like,
Oh,
oh
wow.
yeah, but it's
And you
returning.
got a track in your complex and you got a swimming
Oh, girl, I'm looking right
pool.
across the way.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a pool. I could go swim.
ah,
Honey, so we're gonna turn this thing around. We're gonna turn this thing around. But yeah, the wellness piece is critical. But like I said, it was something triggered when I saw that photo of me,
yes,
all
girl.
the photos in
Mm-hmm.
Houston. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was
that damn Facebook memory. I'm up here on my desktop and I click on Facebook and here I am 2 years ago sitting in my car with this big old moon face talk. I'm like, oh God, it was me.
that was us, and nobody even told us that. Like nobody even mentioned it. But
Oh,
that okay, and that's part of the lesson is you can be out here looking crazy and like very unwell, but sometimes as long as you're doing what other people want you to do, nobody will look out for your wellness like you. They will
yeah.
take all of your work, all your efforts. So yes, I was in a toxic environment that was
Yes, you
happy
were.
that I was
Yes, you
showing
were.
up.
Yes.
They wanted my work, but they
Yes,
did
they
not
did.
want me.
That is true. That is true.
There was not an embracing of like you're not well. I see you continue to gain weight, and I know people think it's taboo, but it's also very loving. If
Yes,
you
it is.
actually think you're
Mm-hmm.
somebody's friend, you're supposed to really actually invest in them and their wellness and their
Mm-hmm.
life. And so, at any rate, those yeah, photos and videos, girl, the memories sometimes come back, and I'm letting it motivate me.
Yeah. Good old Facebook.
It was my iPhone, girl. It was the damn
I
iPhone.
was looking at my desktop like, oh my God, that was me. That's what I look
Yeah,
like. No,
that
I
was
haven't had an acne outbreak in like a month since I've changed my life, my diet and everything. Nothing.
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah. I know, girl. We looking good. Hey.
Thank you. I'm in bed by 10. I'm up between 6 and 7. I have a full day. And I literally have those boundaries. By 9:30, I'm like, up, time to wind down. It's time for me to
Yeah.
shut things down and walk away from this desk and go to bed. And it's a whole different thing.
I
Whole
mean,
different,
work-life balance, honey.
yeah.
It's interesting. So anyway, let's okay. So we're gonna end here because this is just a B-roll. We were just like popping on just to chat. You guys kind of got like a little bit more of our girlfriend chat flavor.
Right, right.
Less
This
introduction.
time, not with the press on nails, but with the lip gloss, because she's the queen of lipsticks and
Oh,
everything. I am
girl.
not.
I know. I have to. I was looking a little dried. I was
I
looking.
don't know. You're looking kind of cute there, the way the glasses match the
I
shirt,
know.
match
I was like,
everything.
oh, should I put on
I
my glasses
like
because
it.
I did my mascara? Okay,
I
so
like it. I like
yes,
it. Yeah.
I'm be trying to pull myself together. I'm single.
You're a
Listen,
Delta.
I can't be
You
out
can't help
here.
yourself. You're a Delta. Can't help yourself.
I can't be
Can't
out
help
here looking crazy. I gotta represent. Okay. So this is just a little B-roll. We're going to give y'all some really good content. We're back and we're going to talk about where we've been for the last 3 months. So we'll see you all very soon in the next episode. Bye. Doula.
Bye.
We ain't even forgot how to like intro and outro. Like let's doula that. Okay, doula that, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.